And we're live. Hello, Facebook. We are here again today on a bright and sunny Tuesday in the Inside Out studio. We're going to be doing some fun stuff today in April. It is pastels and flowers. So let me turn down my phone because I want to make sure we're actually live. Alrighty, and I am here with
James.
And what are we making today, James?
We're going to make a cup out of clay with flowers on it.
Yes, indeed we are. And we made one of those earlier today. So I'm going to show you exactly what we did here. And a cute little cup. And we have a circle here that we are going to carve a flower into. You can't carve the clay while it's too wet, which is why we have this one from this morning that we can carve for you live. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, James?
My two sisters and my mom.
Hello to James' two sisters and James's mom. My shout out today goes out to the Butler County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I know we're having an art sale over there today, so thank you all for stopping in if you did, or saying hello to our artists that are there today. Alrighty, and thank you to everyone who just supports us every single day and all of our donors and sponsors. All right, we're going to go ahead and flip into the creative cam, but first, James, what are your top 3 things to make out of clay?
I think my favorite one has to be Minnie Mouse.
You like Minnie Mouse?
Mm-hmm.
I love making mugs. I make a lot of mugs. All right, we're gonna fade into our creativity cam here with James. All right, so we got a big old slab of clay, which is just the raw wet clay that I ran through the slab roller to get it nice and even. It's about 1/4 inch thick. And this is a rib tool that James is going to start using to smooth out the clay. You can go ahead, James. I will explain what that is and what it does now. So when you pull the clay through a slab roller, it does leave a pretty good texture on there. We use canvas slabs, or giant pieces of fabric essentially, so it doesn't stick to everything. And when you pull it out of that slab roller, it has a pretty good texture on there. I love the canvas texture, but in this case, we do not want it. So we're going to go ahead and get rivet. Make sure we rib that piece too. And we're using this flat tool called a rib, and it just flattens out all of that texture nice and easy for us. All right, some other tools we have ready to go. This is a ribbon tool. It's one of the carving tools we're going to use. It helps us scoop things out when we don't want it. We have a needle point tool, which is a pointy tool with a needle-like point that will help us cut clay. We have a scoring tool, which is essentially many of the needlepoint tools put together, and it will help score the clay for when we go to stick it together. We've got a smaller ribbon tool. I'll get that one closer so you can actually see it, but it's going to help us carve the clay. We've got a rubber tip tool so we can write things in the clay, and the inside out stamp. So now that James has ribbed this one side pretty good, we're going to take it together and we're going to flip it on over. It's a big old slab, but James is pretty strong, so he's got it. And then same thing, we're just going to go ahead and rib it, and if it's too dry, you can always spray it down with water or dip your tool in water. So I would just go ahead and dip that in our pot of water over there that you can't see. James, can you dip it in some water so it's easier for you to spread? Yeah, now you can rib it a little easier. Just making sure all that canvas texture is gone, and that way when we go to carve and glaze, we don't have to worry about any bubbling in our glaze. Looking good. Alright, and in order to make this mug, we're going to do the easiest method here, which is using a mold. So we're going to cut out a couple of pieces, and then we're going to take this really fancy, high-tech solo cup from Shift last year. Has Bud Light and Budweiser on it, but it's just a plastic cup. We're going to wrap it in a plastic bag so it comes out easily, and then we are going to mold it around our mug, or our cup. And that way we get a pretty even shape all around, and then we can carve it. Alrighty, looking good. Can we get that little piece if we didn't already? Excellent. Our camera just shifted a bit, but that is A-okay. So ceramics are one of the things that some of our artists need a little bit more help with, and that is A-okay. And that's what we're here for. So I usually trim the pieces later, just helping them get certain things when they're a little more dry because they're not here for that. So like James's carving we would do together, but later we might need to trim up the edges when it's a little harder. And in order to do that, we have to do it within a, I think, 4 to 5 hour basis. So we will do that later. So now we're going to take it one more time just to get any excess water off, so it's nice and gets dry faster. We need it not super soft, so we're going to let it dry out just a little bit before we mold it together. And this left on here is just wet clay, which is great. That is called slip, and we will definitely need that later, so I'm going to keep it right on our rib tool. So now we're going to take our fancy Nancy cup here, and we're going to press it into the bottom, just a little bit. Yep, that's it. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just roll that whole shape right on over. So finish rolling it for me. You can press a little bit, but not too hard. There we go. Let's make sure we get the bottom one more time, so we can. We're going to need that bottom, or else it's going to be pretty hard to carve, huh? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So now James is going to take this tool and he's going to cut out this shape here. We're not going to cut out the bottom quite yet. So follow those lines as close as you can, James. You can often find James drawing in the studio or making things out of clay on his own. He's an excellent ceramicist. Alright, I think that's plenty. That's enough to make 2 cups. So now we're going to go along the bottom edge. Good job. And now our scrap clay. We're just going to take these off and set them aside up here, so we don't really need them quite yet. And we will put that back in the bag later so we can keep reusing it over and over again. Okay, and now on that bottom piece where we put that circle, you're going to put the stamp and your name. Those are right there. Good job. And so we're not going to cut that out quite yet. We're going to do a little trick that I have learned through the years. Oh, Mallory Miller is watching. Hi, Mallory. She's probably at the Butler County Board of DD right now at the art sale. So, hi, Mallory. It's nice to see ya. We're going to take our clay. We're going to flip it over. We're going to put that indent from our cup in there one more time so we have it. Make sure it lines up. It looks pretty good to me. Do that firmly because this is where it's going to sit. So we're just going to leave it there for now. We won't do any more. Okay, so now we're going to take some water, our hands, dip one finger in there, and we're going to gently go along every seam that we cut to make sure that we are producing some quality ceramics here. In the meantime, can I have that needlepoint tool, please? Perfect. So he's going to go along those edges, and I'm going to cut the side. So we won't know really how short or tall that piece needs to be until we put it on. But for my estimations, if we start at the edge of the Bud Light sign, we're only going to need about this much clay. So we are going to find that mark that I just made with my fingernail, and we're going to cut that, and then we won't need this piece. So I'll take this one right off. Oof. And that's a whole nother cup, so we could always make 2 cups. So we're already making 1 set, but we can make a whole set of 16 if we want.
Yep.
It's a lot of party guests, huh?
Yes.
Alrighty. So the way that we adhere the clay together to get it from slabs into forms is by slipping and scoring. Mm-hmm. And so in order to do that, first you actually don't slip. First you score it. So once again, we take our little scoring tool here. It looks like a tiny little fork with a lot of different methods in it. Sorry, I'm trying to get it closer so you guys can see it. Don't know if it's going to focus, but we're going to try our best. And so James is just going to take that along our seams. We're going to gouge out a pretty good set of lines here. Not too deep, not too shallow. So you're going to do both sides and the bottom. And this is a slip that we saved from earlier, so you could always just use water if you don't have any slip available. But we do, so we're going to use it because it is liquid gold. Wait, don't forget to do the bottom. Nice. So now we are going to put the microphone in my pocket, and we are going to wrap up our cup in plastic wrap. So James, can you do the honors for me and wrap it up? Yeah, wrap it up for me in plastic wrap, and I'm going to score the bottom edge here real quick. Show them all how it's done. Doing the same thing a little bit off screen, kind of on screen here. I'm just slipping or throwing some lines in here. Scoring method. Now this trick is a trick that I learned long ago, but I'm sharing it with you all today, fellow pharmacists. I'm not going to cut a bottom stencil. I am not cutting a bottom stencil at all. I am just going to throw it on here and adhere it. Good looking it out, James. So now we're going to move these pieces over a little bit so we can work right here. Alright, so I'm going to attach this right here so we have our mold ready. We're going to take our slip from right here, this really wet clay that we got earlier from our ribbing tool, and we're going to just press all of that in as much as we can, okay? So James, you can go ahead and take this and put it in all of the seams that you just scored. So we're gonna just scrape it off with our finger, and we're gonna push that super wet clay into all of our seams. We're gonna just keep shoving it in there on all of the parts that we just scored. This is the slip part of the slip and score. So you can go along the bottom or that edge over there. And if you run out, that is a-okay. We'll just use some water and create our own slip. Yep, and we're going to get as much in here as possible so it kind of squishes out. And that's how you know you got a really, really good seal when nothing else fits. So let's make sure so it's all slipped up, James, on that end. Lots of slip in there. Maybe make sure we get this corner here with the rest of it. Use all of it because it's gold and we need it to make sure our cup stays together. Okay. And now the magic's gonna happen. So we are going to roll our sleeves up. James doesn't have sleeves. I do. I'm gonna take our cup wrapped in plastic wrap. James, will you hold the microphone for just a second? I'll explain what is happening. Our microphone paintbrush. I'm gonna make sure that this is on here where it needs to go. I'm going to lift our slab, wrap it around our base here, kind of get it into a cone. And it is we're going to press it down firmly to make sure the bottom seam gets nice and attached. And we're going to push it in as much as we can as well. And we're going to close that seam nice and easy, just like this. I'm just pinching the seam closed. You can't really see it, unfortunately, from the angle you have from above, but that is a-okay. One day I will get a GoPro just for Live Art Mini. If you'd like to see that, please drop a like, comment, or subscribe. GoPro art. And now we're going to get some water on our fingers. Will you do the honors, James? So we're going to get some water on our fingers, and we are going to go along this top edge one more time. So right here, Can you move the water over here so I can have some as well?
Yep.
Perfect. This is a really dirty bucket with really clean water. So going right over that top edge. We're going kind of quick for time, but this is just the process we do to smooth out the edges and sides. So hopefully no one gets injured while drinking out of this cup. And I have the seam on my side, so I'm just going to flatten that right on out. And if you want something like a base for your cup, you can cut a pretty wide circle, but I am going to trim off all the extra clay. I'm putting my hand in the mold because it is plastic. It's not the most sturdy mold I've ever seen, but we try our best here with all sorts of materials. Okay, so I'm taking this right here and I'm just going to cut off the excess clay right along that circle. And James, will you go ahead and pull that off and move it into our scrap pile?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm going to take this piece and continue to just cut off all the extra clay as close as we can. But if we have some extra, it will be a-okay. Did we get everything, James? I think I missed a piece.
Yep, right here.
I'm going to try to look in the camera and use my fingers to guide me through that one. Looks good to me. So now we're just going to flip it on our hands. And James, we're going to do the same thing with some water. We're going to smooth all those edges out to make sure they are nice and sealed. Yep, I'm just going to push them close. We'll cut them up later, but we'll cut them off and trim them as we go. So I'm going to switch hands so I can do that. I'm right-handed, so while James is smoothing, I'm just going to take our edge here and trim it up on the bottom for a really nice lip, or a foot, I guess, since we're at the bottom. I'm just doing it at a slight angle so we have some cute extra designs. I like the nice shapes. And so James, as I turn, I want you to go ahead and smooth those ones out. Oh, not this one. I'm going to cut this one right off. But now we can make sure that this seam that we have is nice and tight and secure. I'm sorry we can't get much closer than this, but we're trying our best over here. So after this, James is going to put a circle on it after we take out the molds, and we will determine what kind of flower we're going to put on our mugs or our cups. So if you're interested in purchasing these, our store is open from 10 to 6 Monday or Tuesday to Saturday, and on Tuesday to Friday, and Saturday we are open 10 to 4. So we're just going to keep going here. Remember, Mother's Day is coming up, and so is Memorial Day and Easter. We have lots of different items for that if you are interested. We also have a full online store that you can visit on our website. If someone could kindly drop that link, that'd be fun, but if not, I can go ahead and do it in a little bit. You can follow our Facebook page links as well to get there. I'm just going to trim up the rest of this lip just to get a nice even edge at the bottom of our cup. A good looking foot there. Okay, and now James and I are going to trim up the top. It looks pretty good, so now you're going to pull up the plastic and find that cup. Oh, not yet. We got to pull the cup out first. So go ahead and grab that plastic cup and pull it out, and then you can pull out the plastic. I'll hold it. Oh, we're going to go straight up.
It's grabbing it.
Yep, so grab it all and go straight up. We'll need that later. So wet fingers just along that inside edge, just to make sure it's nice and smooth. This looks great, James. We're doing pretty good, huh? We do have our seam on the inside here, so I am just going to flatten that out real quick with my wet fingers. If your clay ever gets too thin, clay is just water and dirt, so you can always shove new wet clay right in there. I just got a nub of wet clay that I'm going to shove into the seam on this side to make sure it's nice and adhered. If you can't reach quite down there, you can take the back of your needlepoint tool to smooth that out. And I'm going to take the back of my needlepoint tool that I have here, to secure the edge on the bottom. You could stand to do this, or what I'm doing is just tilting my cup. So shove more of that right in the seam. can use the back of my finger to kind of smooth it on the inside. Once it gets a little bit harder, it'll be easier to make sure that that seam looks a-okay once it's more dry. Right now we are at a pretty soft consistency, but once it gets leather hard, it will be pretty malleable and easier to build and carve, which our other one is. And leather hard is, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's just one of the steps of clay where it's harder than soft clay, and it's really good to build in because it's nice and it'll stand up. Oh, hi, Darlene. But leather hard clay is pretty nice for things like building, but you need wet clay for things like throwing on a wheel. And that is the main difference. Just gonna take this tool along the top edge, try to get it even. Using that, a little bit of pressure, not too much. So you do want it to just be even and not kooky crazy. All right, we're gonna take all that off, go over that seam one last time. So James, can you go ahead and go over that seam for me? We never want to use too much water because we could cause our cup to bow at the bottom. So James is doing a fantastic job of control here. But he's a pretty accomplished ceramicist, so he does amazing work. Okay, now I can just take our fingers along the edges and get any bumps we may have missed, because sometimes that does happen, and that is a-okay.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
I don't like if you want me to add different kind of characters on these kind of cups. I would love to.
Different characters? Okay, well, let's look out and see if we get any. Alrighty, in the meantime, we are going to put our circle right in there. So go ahead and take that, the bottom of our cup, just like we did earlier, and we're going to press that just gently into this so we can carve it. So go ahead and press it in just a little bit. Oh, it's okay, we can fix it. Just like that. Yep. And now, do you want to draw it or do you want me to draw it?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to take our rubber tip tool here, and we're just going to trace that circle that we made with the bottom of that cup. We're going to try our best to follow that circle there.
Other besides characters, or maybe different kind of like other ideas besides flowers.
Yeah, because this is flower week, remember?
You can do like tulips.
Tulips, sunflowers. If you guys have any suggestions, you can drop them in the comments for your favorite kind of flower, and we might just put it on our cup today.
Or what's your favorite color of your favorite flowers?
We could do red flowers. My favorite is, I like yellow. Yellow and white flowers are my favorite. But we did get a brand new glaze. Guess what it's called? It's a red, and it's called a Ruby Slippers.
Ooh.
So we're going to use that for some flower stuff for sure this month.
Uh-oh, Ruby Slippers, better watch out for the Wicked Witch of the West.
You better.
Oh, she might take them.
Alrighty, so now we're going to grab those. We're going to finish this one, and then we're going to grab the other cup so we can carve it out. So I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? We got a circle on here. And we're going to set this aside and let it get a little more dry, and we'll grab our other cup, which is getting harder as we speak, which is awesome. Means it is very accessible to use for carving. So I'm just going to take our cup and put it back in here just for some extra security as far as making sure the shape doesn't bend too much. Alrighty, James, pick out your stamp or your flower.
I'm going to go with this bean.
The sunflower?
Yep.
All right, you can just leave it right here for inspiration for me. And now you are going to draw your flower in here just really lightly, and I will help you carve it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to pour it in a little bit more towards the camera. So just really lightly in here. So if you're looking for some really cool carved ceramics as well, we do have some new ones in our store. James has been making a lot of new stuff with our new carving techniques. I'm a subtractive artist, so I try my best with additive methods, but subtractive carving things in is very beautiful.
I also do tropical flowers.
You like tropical flowers? I like tropical flowers. You know, right now in Stardew Valley, I'm growing a bunch of sunflowers. You guys can't all play Stardew Valley with me, unfortunately. I don't have that good of a computer, but I do love Stardew. So now I'm going to take our smaller ribbon tool and I'm going to carve out our circle again. Nice and even around. And then James here, if he wants to, he can carve his flower. He can carve it or I can carve it, or we can get Savvy in here to carve it, whoever he chooses. We try to encourage all of our artists to do everything they
I
can.
think Sappy should give it a try.
Well, I think Savvy is out in the hallway doing a really cool thing right now, so we might want to leave them alone for a minute there.
All right.
But I'm sure Savvy would absolutely love to under any other circumstance. I'm sure Savvy would love to now, but Savvy's a bit busy. So I'm just taking small sections here. Once again, I wish I had a GoPro so you could see exactly what I'm doing. It's my favorite part of carving. It's a really nice, almost ASMR kind of vibe with gentle, relaxing removal of clay. So I'm taking just small pieces here, carving out that circle, kind of making it even so it looks nice. And then we're going to start carving out that flower. So do you want to do it, James, or do you want me to do it?
But I don't really have a steady hand.
Okay, I can show you how. So I'll do it on this one, and then you're going to do it on the next one.
All right.
We are running out of time, so I do apologize, but I promise I will be quick. In the meantime, we can just say thank you again to all of our donors and sponsors and everyone who supports our studio every single day and all of our artists every day. So we're just going to take the corner of our tool here, just carefully carve out each flower. We're just going to carve out our flower petals. I'm going to leave a little bit in the center there for our flower. There we go. So we're getting a variety of different petals here, which is awesome.
And the cups could be in different colors.
Oh yeah, we could always glaze as many different color cups as we want or need to. So when we glaze this, we will choose if the actual flower petals are going to be glazed or not. Because sometimes we can leave them as raw clay, which I personally absolutely love the look of. So just using both sides of this needlepoint tool to slowly carve in our design. One day we're going to get a ring light for Life Art Mini, but it is not today. One day, James, right? We're going to get the ring light and the full ring light in the GoPro.
Also, leave it on light to see if Terry will wear her sombreros.
Some what?
Sombreros means hat in Spanish.
Sombrero. Okay. Well, leave a like if you want Terry to wear a sombrero. Our YouTube's going to be popping. Once again, you can always watch these videos on YouTube later, or that's might be where you're watching them right now. And if it is, hi, YouTube. We're almost done here. Continuing to get all of our little shapes out. We don't want them too thick, but we did give ourselves extra room on the carving surface for this purpose. And if we ever carve too deep, well, now it's going to be a candle holder or something. Decorative vase if we accidentally cut through. So we're just finishing up some of our other petals. And we'll just take our other sections right out like this. And after this, we can go finish painting our installation for the Dayton Metro Library. So I'm getting some extra bits in here, extra details. Can't see them as well yet, but you will definitely be able to see them after we finish trimming it up. We're going to keep that center in here, but just put a couple of extra dots in for fun flair.
If I was thinking of characters, I was thinking between, I don't know, Disney themed?
We could do Disney character cups.
Anyone who likes the good or the bad, leave a like. Who's their favorite hero or who's their favorite villain?
Mine's Ursula. I like her a lot.
If I had to choose, it has to be Cruella de Vil.
I like Cruella. Well, I like doggies, so I wouldn't pick her. My dog is too scared of her. But good thing my dog is not a Dalmatian, huh?
Or it'd be a spotted coat.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's see.
If I really have to choose between her or the other villain, I think my top one has to be the one that's a little bit more evil than the other ones I fought.
Yeah, so who's your favorite? Is it Cruella then? Because she's the
Well,
most evil?
Cruella is probably my second favorite, but I think my most top, who one mostly lies to the princess, I think it has to be Mother Gothel.
Mother Gothel,
Because she's more
yeah.
crooked.
She was very cruel, very crooked. Alright. Like I said, I like Ursula. I don't think she did much wrong.
No.
I like Taka too, even though she wasn't really a villain. And his name was Maui, demigod of the land and sea. Please don't DMCA me, YouTube.
Don't forget about Simba's evil Uncle Scar.
Yeah, he's really bad. All right, what do you think, James?
Looks pretty good to me.
We'll show off this flower to our camera here if we can see it. I'm trying my
And
best.
let you know, there's no beer in it. There's no alcohol. Just letting you know.
Well, yeah, because Jody Man's not
It's
here.
just an empty cup.
So now we're going to take out our mold here. Got a pretty good cup on the inside as well. A beautiful shape and a beautiful design. And so now we are going to make the other one match in just a couple of hours, and we will be back. So we're going to switch back to the face cam. Alrighty, we want to say a final goodbye to everyone and a huge thanks for watching today on Facebook or YouTube. We will see you next week. We're making some glass. So big shout outs and a final reminder that Shift tickets are on sale. So if you're interested in Shift, which is our family friendly rave, to help support the studio, please check out our Facebook page or our website for more information. And with that, my hands are covered in clay, but all right, goodbye everyone. I could hit stop streaming.